My name's Niki Ashton. I'm the Member of Parliament for Churchill-Kiiwetinoong-Aski, which is northern Manitoba, which is where I'm from. I also just recently announced that I'm running for the leadership of the federal NDP. And in terms of my own U of M history, it's a long one. I did my undergrad here in global political economy and graduated in 2004. And then came back after I did my master's at Carleton in Ottawa, came back to do my PhD. I started at the Arthur Morrow School in Peace and Conflict Studies, and let's just say I'm almost done. So it's been a long journey, obviously doing a PhD while being a member of Parliament, but my PhD is on millennial feminism, something I'm very passionate about, and of course it's informed a lot of my work and inspired a lot of my work politically as well. Well, we definitely need to understand that the rise of precarious work, underemployment, and unemployment amongst young people is a national phenomenon. Obviously, we're seeing here in Manitoba the numbers are worsening, and they've been worsening for some time across the country as well. And there absolutely is a role for the federal government to play on this front, as well as all levels of government. First of all, there are some regulatory changes. For example, we need to make sure that our labor code puts a stop to exploitative unpaid internships, because a lot of young people are told, well, this is the way to, get a job, when in fact, increasingly it's not. We have to look at ways of expanding the social safety net, and the fact that a lot of young people now, because of the work that they're doing, can't access EI or can't access social programs because the numbers don't add up, the hours don't add up. So we need to recognize that and create a buffer. And then we have to have a very strong job creation strategy. We need to recognize that there is a role for the federal government to look at job creation. We have summer student job programs that are run by the federal government. Why don't we have a year-round program of sorts? And a number of student leaders are calling for that. We need to look at ways in which we can stop the neoliberal agenda that's led to us losing so many jobs. So putting a stop to privatization, outsourcing, austerity, bad trade deals that are selling us out, and increased corporate concentration. These are the trends that have led us to losing good jobs for our generation and all generations. Well, it's interesting because Prime Minister Trudeau is also the Minister of Youth, and just actually at the end of last year, myself and my colleague, who's the youth critic for the NDP, called for him to step down as youth critic, because we're not really sure what he's actually doing on behalf of youth. There's been some nice sounding tweets, and there's been an advisory board put together, but in terms of tangible actions to improve the lives of young people, we haven't seen anything, particularly around job creation and addressing rising youth unemployment and rising precarious work. We're saying we need to strengthen post-secondary funding from the federal government. In the 1950s, the Canadian government gave 50% of post-secondary education. That number for universities today has dropped to 9%. We need our federal government to step it up. We need a dedicated transfer. We need to commit to the post-secondary student support program and support First Nations students who have a treaty right to education. And our campaign's putting a bold vision on that front. So in terms of Manitoba, I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing here in my own home province. At a time when the world is shifting and people to the south of us are talking about free tuition, student leaders here in our own country are calling for free tuition, Manitoba's going in the wrong direction. The Manitoba government's reference to increasing tuition fees is certainly not in line with the reality that young people are facing, and it's not in line with the sort of the energy that we're seeing that activists are putting forward, and that bold vision that we should be putting forward to build a better future for all of us. I take all the inspiration from the Bernie Sanders campaign, and obviously he put forward incredibly inspiring messages around re-envisioning a future for his own country, but I think in a way for all of us. One where we are working to achieve social, environmental, and economic justice. And I think that Bernie Sanders built a movement that was incredibly inspiring to a lot of Canadians as well, because he gave a sense that we're all in this together. And that's really a message that we've put forward as part of our leadership campaign, the need to build a movement for fundamental political change, a bold movement where we're calling out the rich and powerful that have been holding us back, and a bold movement where our goal is to achieve social, environmental, and economic justice for all.